Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We'll chant Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verses 46 to 50.
यावानर्थ उदपाने सर्वतः सम्प्लुतोदके तावान् सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भूः मा ते सङ्गोऽस्त्वकर्मणि योगस्थः कुरु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा धनञ्जय सिद्ध्यसिद्ध्यो समो भूत्वा समत्वं योग उच्यते दूरेण ह्यवरं कर्म बुद्धियोगाधनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपणाफलहेतवः बुद्धियुक्तो जहातीह उभे सुकृतदुष्कृते तस्माद्योगाय युज्यस्व योगः कर्मसु कौशलम्.
So we are studying this portion of the Bhagavad Gita from chapter 2, verses 45 to 53, wherein he is talking about desireless actions leading to self-realization, selfless action leading to self-realization. So he is here talking about karma yoga, vis-a-vis karma, action. So in 47th shloka, which is very often quoted shloka, he says, Karmani eva adhikaraha ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturboho ma te sangosva karmani. Your right is with reference to action only, never to the fruit, never to the result. Your right is in action only, never to the fruits. Let not the fruit of action be your motive, nor let your attachment be to inaction. This is the complete shloka. So he says, action springs from you, you do the action, but the results come from the total. And also, when you do an action, you may expect a certain result and do, thinking that that is what is good for you. But do you really know what is good for you? See, first and foremost, like we have been discussing, we need to understand that we as this individual are a small circle. And we are part of that total, the prapancha, the Brahmanda. So we are part of that. So we really do not know the complete picture. As a small circle, we don't understand the complete picture. So we may think this is the best for me, but do we really know? There's a very interesting story about a king, who had the habit of going for hunting every now and then. And every time he went, he used to take along his minister with him. One particular minister he used to take along with him. It's a strange habit he had. The minister was not interested in hunting at all. He just probably needed a company. And this minister had the habit of saying to everything that happens, whatever happens is for our good only. He will make such statement. And the king was a little annoyed with that statement every time being made by this minister. Even something bad happens, he said, this is also for our good. So he said, okay, what to do? I'll put up with this nonsense, but let him be with me. So he took him along every time he went for hunting. One day before going for hunting, the king was eating an apple and he used a knife to cut the apple. By mistake, he cut his finger a little bit and blood was coming out. Seeing this, the minister said, this is also for your good. He got really annoyed. He said, yeah, this time I want to teach you a lesson. He put him in the jail. He said, you go and be in the jail for 2-3 days till I come back from hunting. Then you will understand. So he left alone this time. And this time, as fate would have it, he was caught by cannibals in the jungle. A tribe of cannibals were living there. They caught him. And they were going to sacrifice him for their goddess. And they had a strange custom that whatever they sacrifice to the goddess has to be absolutely pure, with no defect whatsoever. But when they were about to sacrifice out, that he had a small wound on his finger because he just cut his finger. So they let him go. He was left to go back to his kingdom. Came running to the jail. He said, please release this minister. Now I understand what happened was for my good. But one thing I don't understand, when I put you in jail, how is it good for you? He said, sir, King, if you had not put me in jail, you would have taken me. I have no such defect in my body. So they might have sacrificed me. They could have sacrificed me. So that is also for our good. But we don't understand the entire picture. That's the problem. From our limited angle, we look at things and say, this is bad, this is good. Do we really know? So why bother about it? So if you are a person who's matured with this understanding, you will have nothing to do with victory or defeat, profit or loss, honor or dishonor, censure or praise. You take it away from your head. Absolutely. And you won't do it for a fruit. You won't do it with that attitude that I am doing it. You understand that there are so many people, there are so many factors that determine whether the action should end up as success or failure, and whether it ends up as success also, will it continue to be successful? All these things are not in our hands. So why bother about all that? So that's what this shloka is teaching about. So you completely take away all this from your head while acting, and you don't even have the attitude that you are doing the action. From the absolute, you understand that you are neither the doer nor the enjoyer. From the relative also, you understand that there are so many people contributing for it, which I explained to you. I am talking to you now, explaining these shlokas. My guru has taught me, and so many scriptures we've been reading, reflecting. So many people have contributed for it. In fact, some of the Upanishads, you don't even know who the authors are, who the guru is. Guru very clearly says in Kena Upanishad. The Upanishad is called Kena Upanishad. There is no name of the author there. He has not written his own name, he or she. We don't know. Not written the name. He says, thus have we taught by our gurus. Anya devatat viditatato aviditatati iti shushruma purvesham enastad vyacha chakshire. Thus have we got the knowledge from our gurus. He himself or she herself is a realized soul, yet no declaration about that. They have received it in this parampara, Guru Sishya parampara. And that's very same knowledge they have given it to you. So we don't know who the authors are. They didn't bother. No copyright, no nothing. Just with no kartrutva, that doership, they did it. So that's what he says. Let not the fruit of action be your motive, nor give yourself to attachment to inaction. Don't fall into inaction, because every one of us will have to do our duty. See, a car has so many parts. Every part comes together so that the car runs, Supposing axle breaks, everything else is fine. Will the vehicle run? So can you say that axle is not important? There is no such thing as something more important, something less important. All are equally important. talents differ. All is well and wisely put. If I cannot carry forest on my back, neither can you crack a nut. That's how the poem Mountain and the Squirrel ends up. The poet Emerson beautifully ends the poetry called The Mountain and the Squirrel. He says there was a fighting or argument between mountain and the squirrel. In fact, the argument was started by the mountain. He said, I am very big, you're such a small being, tiny being, depending on the fruits and vegetables that I'm producing, the nuts and everything that I'm producing. You are such a small, he goes on taunting. Squirrel says, it's okay, I may be small, but all sorts of things and weather must be taken in together to make up a ear and a spear. The squirrel talks with self-respect. And then the squirrel says, talents differ. All is well and wisely put. If I cannot carry forest on my back, neither can you crack a nut. Squirrel can crack a nut, mountain cannot crack a nut. But mountain is making a very pretty squirrel track that the squirrel is appreciating. So similarly, plants are giving us oxygen. We are dependent on the plants. And we give out the carbon dioxide, which the plants and trees, they take from us. So we supplement and complement each other. So every part has to do its bit. We all have to do our duty, just removing this kartrutva, just removing this result orientation. And he says this is Karma Yoga. And in 48, he says, when you do such action, you'll be balanced. And there we explain, Yogastat kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So what is yoga? Yoga is not just standing on your head. That is yoga asana. But we explained this last week, right? When you say yoga, now you're bending your body, touching your fingers, your toes with your fingers. Supposing your neck is turning a little bit towards the TV, would that become yoga? The body, mind, everything should be aligned. And only it's yoga. That alignment, that integration is called yoga. You understand? That is called yoga. So, when your mind is not bothered about the results, the intellect is keeping the mind completely in the action and the body performs the action in that direction, you are in complete yoga. Unison. There is balance. And therefore, we need to really understand what this balance is. When do you lose balance? When your mind goes to success or failure. Something outward. Then the mind creates more desires. You become such a split personality, you will not be able to focus and function. So therefore, instead of choosing between success and failure, he's asking us to choose as to who is interested in success and failure. Who is this that is interested in success and failure? Who is that personality? Analyze that personality. Is this body or the mind or something beyond it? So when you have shifted your buddhi from the external, see today what is happening is our buddhi is being used, whatever intelligence we have, discrimination we have is being used only to get success, failure, profit, loss. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. You could have put all your efforts to get the best MBA from the best university. But what are you doing with that MBA? Just want to add little more furnitures in your house, more than what your mom and dad had added in your house. Isn't it? One more fleet of cars. One more fleet of cars, some of the new ones. This is all we are doing with our intelligence. See, there's a very interesting story. There was a gentleman who had a parrot at home. And he taught the parrot to chant the Vedic shlokas, Vedic mantras. And the parrot used to repeat the Vedic mantras, and he used to listen to the mantras chanted by the parrot and gets enjoyed. So one day his friend told him, I would like to take this parrot to my house. So he said, okay, take it. And after a few days he asked, are you enjoying my parrot? He said, yes, I enjoyed your parrot. He's asking, are you enjoying my parrot? The company with my parrot? And that fellow answered, I enjoyed your parrot. Meaning what? He had a meal out of it. He made a meal out of it and had it one day. That's it. He killed the parrot and ate it. There are some people, they know only that. It's like animals. See, you take a book and you read and you get tremendous knowledge and joy from reading that book. But the same book, when you when you give it to a donkey, what will the donkey do? It'll eat it. Donkey doesn't know anything better. Donkey knows only that use. Only that usage it knows. Similarly, we are all such poor people. We know only that usage. We are using our intellect externally. When the same intellect is turned inward, it can realize the self. So that's why he says in the 48th shloka, he says, Durena hevaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanam anvicha kripana phala hetava. Bichara, he says. The fellows who are just involved in karma, just involved in action per se, nothing beyond that, who have no clue of what karma yoga is all about, those fellows are all bicharas, he says, poor fellows. Far inferior to yoga of knowledge is action. Durena hevaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddha sharanam anvicha kripana phala hetava. Wretched are they whose motive is fruit. Something they want from the world. I must get this, I must get that. Who have conditions. Fellows who understand the total picture have no conditions. They are intelligent, he says. You are intelligent, you will have no conditions. There's another very interesting poem called Olive Tree. It's a fascinating poem. Now, in that poem, the poet says there are two hermits who wanted olive oil for their midnight prayers. So they said, why not we plant the olive sapling, so let it grow and then we can extract oil out of it. So they planted. One fellow constantly prayed to God, oh God, please give rain to my olive tree. Please give, fertility in the soil. Please give shade. Please give sunlight, etc. He was constantly asking. And as he asked, he was blessed. That sapling was blessed with whatever he asked. But still his olive tree died. He went to see if the other fellow's olive tree was growing, living, or dead. He wanted to know that. So he went to check that. When he went to check, he found his tree is growing very well. So he's asking, how is it, my brother, tell? When my olive tree died, yours is growing up very well. How is this? For which that other fellow says, I entrusted my little tree to him. Laid I on him no conditions. Laid I on him no conditions. He who made it knew what it needed better than a man like me. What an outstanding statement it is. Laid I on him no conditions. He who made it knew what it needed better than a man like me. It is bhakti. We are all, in true sense of the term, if you look at it, we are all atheists. Because we are constantly asking Bhagavan, ye de do, oh de do. Agar aap ye denge, then I will come with something to you. So, we are not believers of God. True believer of God is one who understands that what is good for us is what is given to us by the totality. So, what is there to ask? There won't be anything to ask. To the extent you ask, you are an atheist. That's why Swami Vivekananda says, he is not an atheist who does not believe in God. He is an atheist who does not believe in himself. It's a very interesting definition he gives. He is not an atheist who does not believe in God. He is an atheist who does not believe in himself. You understand? We all call ourselves as believers of God. And then constantly asking. So therefore, he says, far inferior to yoga of knowledge is action. In other words, when your action is purified by this higher knowledge, by this higher vision, then it is far superior. You're able to enjoy superior joy. See, the fellow who ate the parrot He doesn't know any other joy other than eating what comes from the Vishaya Sukha. He only knows the sense joy. Like an animal. Animal knows that only. Isn't it? Doesn't know anything else. So we are all leading an animalistic life. We are not living like a human being. That's what he's saying. A human being can experience far superior joys. You understand? You can look at the nature and enjoy. You take a tiger or any other animal, dog, is it going to enjoy the nature? So, a human being is capable of experiencing far superior joy, and the highest level a human being can experience is go within and realize the truth and experience the infinite bliss within. So, therefore, he says, these are people who do not know where the real joy is. Therefore, they are running outside. But a fellow who through knowledge knows, he will stop running outside. So he says, seek refuge in knowledge. Wretched are they whose motive is fruit. Useless fellows, poor fellows who cannot think, who do not have any clue of something beyond this level. We can't see anything beyond our nose. That's the problem. We are stuck at the level of senses. There are people who are stuck at the level of senses. There are people who are stuck at the level of mind. There are people who are stuck at the level of intellect. You've got to cross these boundaries and go beyond. How many of us have that capacity? Way down the line we get stuck. Like when they play that Kaun Banega Karorpati, you can see that. The fellow keeps on answering the questions. And he says, this much money you earned, this much money you earned. But it is not guaranteed. But after some time, when he answers a particular question, this much amount is guaranteed. Then when he goes to the next question, if he answers correctly, he will get the next amount. But no guarantee. But if he loses, if he gives a wrong answer, he'll get the guaranteed money. And supposing he is doubtful about that answer to that question, you can see that fellow's mind going this side and that side, doubtful. And, like that. So he'll withdraw. You can see that. So in other words, somewhere we say, I am here, that's it. We're all stuck. We don't continue walking deeper and deeper. You want really the ultimate, you got to continue walking deeper. So he says, Durena Havaram Karma, Buddhi Yukta Dhananjaya, Buddhau Sharanam Anvicha, Rupana Phala Hetava. Wretched, beggar, miserly guy. He doesn't know anything deeper. Very interesting choice of words he uses. He says, Dhananjaya, winner of wealth. You are a winner of wealth. What wealth have you won? This is the real wealth. What you have earned is all duplicate wealth. Like, when we play Monopoly. When you're growing up, we all must have played this game, Monopoly. There's a, rupee that they give, dollar or rupee, whatever. It's fake. In the sense, you can't take it to the market and buy something from there. You just play the game. But it's like that. So therefore he says, take refuge in knowledge. Knowledge means jnanam. See, this is another interesting thing. In the Shastra, when they say jnanam, they mean only the knowledge of the self. Everything else is Vishaya Jnana. It is Vishaya Jnana. In fact, in one of the chapters, it's called as Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Now, we call the material science as Vijnanam, no? Vigyan Bhavan. You go in Delhi, there is this Vigyan Bhavan. Vigyan Bhavan, what is that? It's scientific. They're talking about the external science, which is about the material world, which can be contacted through your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, and mind and intellect. But this is something that cannot be contacted by your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, mind, intellect. It is far beyond. that knowledge of yourself, the knowledge of your true I is jnanam. With that jnanam, he's saying do the action. That's all it is. See, that is how they did it in the ancient time. When a child is young, around 7, 8, the child is taken to the guru and initiated into the knowledge, where the guru taught both jnanam and vijnanam. Then the student have got the information, maybe digested the information a little bit also, but practically the child has to become mature. So majority of them took to grihastha, which is like a laboratory, and then they use this knowledge in their practical life. Action were done with this knowledge. They functioned in the world with the spirit of karma yoga, in the spirit of karma yoga. So as a result, what happened? Slowly, their mind became more and more mature. That's how it should be. So therefore, he says, your action should be coupled with this knowledge. Then it's called buddhi yoga, karma yoga. Then your action will be dedicated action with determination and accepting whatever comes as a result as a prasad. You will have both arpana bhav and prasada bhav. That you will be doing. So only fellows who have very small intelligence will be interested in the result. Fellows with total intelligence will be completely free from the thought of the result. Now, when you function like this, what happens? He says, you will in fact do far superior action. That is what he's going to say in the next sloka, which will bring you the highest good. He's going to explain that in the next sloka. Verse number 50.
Buddhi yukto jahatiha ube sukruta dushkrute tasmad yogaya yujyasva yoga karmasu kaushalam.
Both good and bad deeds. Sukruta, dushkruta, he says, which is translated as good and bad deeds. Therefore, devote yourself to yoga. Skill in action is yoga. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. In verse number 48, he said, Samatvam yogam uchyate. In verse number 50, he says, Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Skill in action is yoga. Now, very interesting. A is equal to B. A is equal to C. Then B should be C. So that's what he's saying here. Yoga is balanced mind. Samatvam yogam uchyate. Then yoga karmasu kaushala. So kaushala karma is called yoga, he says here. Skill in action is yoga. Which means what? You will be skillfully functioning when you are internally balanced. That's what it means. This is what Swami Ramtita calls it as intense work is rest. Don't quote rest. Don't quote running away. One set of people run after. Another set of people run away. Yoga is neither running away nor running after. It is keep running. The sense with no thoughts of the results. When you are completely balanced within, you will be doing kaushala karma, he says. It's very, very interesting. He says you will go beyond good and bad actions. In English, it's translated as good and bad. Sukha, dukkha. Dushkrita, sukrita. Means what? Pleasant and not so pleasant. Punya and apunya. Right? You gain virtue and go to heaven. Sukham. See, what is sukham need not necessarily be good for you. Because many times we are bound by sukham. So what is good for you is being in liberation. Please understand this. You borrow money, you can borrow money from the bank and then become successful, but you will continue to remain in bondage, because constantly there will be something, array, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, I don't know what amount you have to pay back. That amount will be constantly lingering in your head. Is bar ho gaya, successfully we have been able to pay. Next month kya hoga pata nahi. Next to next month kya hoga pata nahi. He is in constant bondage. In Tamil, Ramayana is written by Kamban. Like Valmiki Ramayana, we have in Tamil written by Kamban, poet Kamban. So he says, very interesting, these scriptures, they teach something very deep for us from different angles. When Lord Ram defeated Ravana the first day, as per the story in Kamba Ramayana, Lord Ram defeats Ravana, meaning he takes away through his weapons, he breaks Ravana's bow and arrow, he becomes completely Nirayudapan, meaning he has no weapons whatsoever. He is lost. That time Lord Ram says, Indru poi nalaiva. Indru poi nalaiva means you go back today, come back tomorrow. In the sense, if you have changed and you come back as a reformed person, there won't be any war. You can continue to be the king of Lanka. But you go back and don't get reformed and you come back as the same person, you'll be finished tomorrow. Indru poi nalaiva. Now, when he heard that, what happened to Ravana's mind, Kamban explains. He says, Kadan pattar nenjam pol kalanginan ilangai vendan. Ilangai vendan means Lanka's king. How did he suffer mentally when such a thing happened? He says, Kadan pattar nenjam pol kalanginan ilangai vendan. Kadan pattar nenjam means what? Kadan means loan. So he suffered mentally like a person who's borrowed, he says. Can you not be successful borrowing money? You may be successful in borrowing money. That itself is a big thing nowadays. You apply to the bank and the bank manager will say, sorry, sir. First of all, they may say, sorry, sir, you can't even apply. You don't qualify to apply. If you qualify to apply, whether you'll be granted, how much you ask for, that much whether you'll be granted, nothing is known. So you may be successful in getting whatever you asked as a loan. And you may be a successful businessman from that. But you are still a bound person. Please understand this. Shakespeare also says, neither a borrower nor a lender be. Neither a borrower nor a lender be. Now, after this class, I don't know, next session, after Diwali when we meet, I think there will be more people dropping out of the class. What is he saying? Don't take loan and all that. How can you survive in this world without taking loan? That's what our idea is also. You understand? More and more people dropping out. In the sense, see, just think about it. Jokes apart. What he's trying to say here, you go beyond Sukha karma and Dukkha karma. Dushkrita, Sukrita. Isn't it? All of us want something pleasant. People should talk to us nicely. How dare you use such words? Cut me. I will not talk to you. Okay, don't talk. The thing is, you have to go beyond Dushkrita and Sukrita. All the time we are caught in this. We are in bondage. We do not have any clarity as to what is bondage, what is free. This is a bigger problem. In the book Fall of the Human Intellect, Swamiji talks about it. He says, what is freedom? What is bondage? Do you really know? See, when you say that I'm a free person, I can do what I want. I don't like to do this, I will not do this. I like to do this, I'll do this. I'm a free guy. I'm a free person. Are you really free? You are not really free. You are dictated terms by your mind. Your mind is dictating terms to you. The mind badly wants it, badly craves for it. And therefore, if you get it, you're happy. You don't get it, you're not happy. The mind doesn't want to do something, so you don't do it. You think you're free. No, you are not free. If you were free, you will tell the mind, listen, you may not want to do this, but this is the right thing to do. Then you're free. Do we really understand this as freedom today? What is bondage we are understanding as freedom? What is freedom we are understanding everything as ulta, bondage. So this is what he's teaching here in the Gita. See, I told you, when the rishis talk, we need to decode it. It's not directly given. So it's called a secret. Marai, they say in Tamil. Rajavidya, Rajaguhya Yoga, he says, 9th chapter. It's a very big secret. What secret? Now, Bhagavad Gita is there in everybody's hands. Now, sometimes you find Gita book is being distributed free of cost also. Many places. So you may have the Bhagavad Gita book. What secret? You can have the book, you may be reading, you can attend 1,000 classes, you may be teaching 1,000 classes also. Let me include myself also in that. There is no exception here to that. You may still not know the secret. Because you have not been decoding it. You have been just memorizing, by hearting, repeating. So he is very intelligently, it's his choice of words are fantastic here. He says, united to knowledge, united to that higher knowledge, being totally balanced within, one sheds here both good and bad deeds. Pleasant, replace the word good with pleasant. Results producing deeds. And not so pleasant results producing deeds. So all of us are caught in this now. Punya. I don't want papa, I want punya. It goes beyond pap and punya. What is that? It goes beyond bondage. Both pap and punya binds you. That's what I was explaining to you. Whether when you take a loan, just that was just an example. You can think of many more examples you want. But this is something very practical. So when you take loan, after that, whether you are successful or you go through failure, your mind is in bondage. Nowadays, SMS also comes. Automatic SMS comes from the banks. Please keep the money ready in your bank. Because first or second, I don't know, whatever date that is, you are supposed to repay your loan. You're going on swiping with our credit cards. Happily. It's Diwali time also now. I don't know how many times you have swiped now. Understand? You just swipe it with such ego and tremendous feeling. Yeah, this day, you take this platinum card. Your ego is boosted with such words also. Platinum, gold, pata nahi kya kya. You understand? And then just happily swipe and then you've taken everything you bought with loan. Then what happens? Message comes. Date to pay back is first. Keep the money in your bank. You understand? If you don't keep the money, you'll be in trouble. The interest rate comes and all that comes, whatever you've given as mortgage, that will be taken. You are in terrible stress, whether you are successful or in failure. In both success and failure, you are in bondage. That is not kaushala karma. That is not good karma. That is not what is good for you. Yoga karma su kaushalam. So, a person who is balanced, who is aware, will not fall into bondage. Or he will not fall into an action that will bind him. We are all doing actions that will produce vasanas which will bind us. Especially in today's context, this example, I want to talk about it more and more, because today what is happening is even to tour, people take loan. I don't know what there's all kinds of loans, personal loan, vehicle loan, home loan. I don't know what a loan is there. You understand? So many names they have for these loans. They may not like the word loan, so some people call it personal finance. Use the word finance, the fellow gets even more deluded. You have to be very careful. Message comes. Sometimes they call us, See, our institute is called as Vedanta Institute Delhi. So some of these fellows have wrongly understood. They think we are part of that Vedanta group. You know that what is his name? Anil Agarwal. Anil Agarwalji's group is called Vedanta Group, no? So they think we are Vedanta Group. Suddenly one day I got a call. Sir, I'm calling from this bank and we want to come to you to talk to you. I said, okay, what do you want to come for? No, we'll come and talk. I said, no, please come. That's okay, but what is it that you want to talk? No, you are the Vedanta group, so you want to talk about, starting an account, this and that. I said, Arey Baba, listen, we are not part of that Vedanta group. I wish we were, but we are not. You understand? We are different. We are Vedanta Institute Delhi. Okay, sorry. We kept the phone down. So the thing is, you see, you take loan to tour the world. You don't have the money, but there is desire. So what do? You take loan and tour the world. And then you come back and keep paying. And worry whether the job will be gone. And you can't say anything to your boss, even though if he's behaving or she's behaving badly to you, because I may lose a job. You continue as a bound fellow throughout your life. You are choosing to be bound now. You are bound for the next 10 years, 15 years, 6 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever amount of time. You are binding. You are choosing an action that binds you for more years. But it is attractive. That is the beauty. That's the beauty. See, when you go to a gambling center, when you go to a gambling center, if you are intelligent, you won't take your credit card and all. You may just keep some $50, $20, whatever it is. $100 maximum, maybe. I don't know. It's up to you. But if you take credit card, you're finished. You make sure you don't have more than $50, $100. You go there. I'm not saying first go there. If you go there, then you play. First you play for $5, $1, $10, whatever. 2-3 times you lose. Suddenly, you win $20. You might have lost $40. You might have already lost $40 in total. But now suddenly you're winning $20. Now you think, now I know how to win. Then you again play. Again, in between you lose, in between you win a little bit. So again your ego goes up. Now I know how to win. And then after 1 hour or so, all $100 gone. So by making you win, they actually win. This is the thing. This is the secret. This is the secret. If you actually understand the secret, you can win in relationships also. The secret of relationship is this only. By making the other person win, you remain the winner in relationship. But winning over the other person, you remain a loser in relationships. Whoever gets it, gets it. So therefore, he says, devote yourself to yoga. Yoga meaning to that balanced state of mind, to that knowledge, to the self, to the Atma. And once you are united with that, then you realize there is nothing lacking within. You are paripurna. You are complete. Then the action comes out of you. See, then also an action comes out of you. That is like Ananda Tandavam. You understand Ananda Tandavam? Ananda Tandavam means Out of joy you dance. Isn't it? In India won the World Cup in T20 recently. You would have bought sweets and distributed to even the strangers. Many times I've seen, sometimes, some child is born in the family. So what the parents do, they buy sweets and they distribute it to uh, even people on the road. They distribute. Now, what is happening there? Just expressing joy. You do many things. That action is action that is expressed out of joy. That is not an action that is expressed to attain joy. It's called Ananda Tandava. You understand? So thereafter, out of bliss you act. Thereafter, you don't act to find bliss, find joy. So that is what he calls as skillful action. Skillful means you act without getting caught. You act without getting bound. That is called skillful. But acting, seemingly winning, but being in bondage. What kind of a skill is this? Very skillfully, a thief also steals a bank. Isn't it? A thief may steal the bank very skillfully, but he cannot come out in the light. During day, he cannot come out. What is it? That is bondage. So, really speaking, skill means what? You perform the action and you may be a successful winner, may not be, but you are never in bondage. Neither the failure binds you, nor the success binds you. In both success and failure, you remain unbound. A skillful person. And in fact, such a person, most of the time, most likely to be successful. Because the mind is peaceful. When the mind is peaceful, you can act very well. When you act very well, you will be successful. And even if you're not successful, it's okay. You learn from the mistakes. You keep correcting because you enjoy the process. You enjoy the process. So, it's one of the most brilliant portions in the Gita, what we are studying now. So he says, united to knowledge, one sheds here both good and bad deeds. You wonder otherwise, what is this? Dushkrita is okay. Why should I drop Sukrita? I explained to you last week. No, please understand. Sukha and Dukkha, they are twins. When Sukha is standing in front, Dukkha is hiding behind. When Dukkha is standing in front, Sukha is hiding behind. This whole thing is a chakra. Cycle keeps on going and coming. So you find that sometimes Sukha is in the front, then you get excited, and then you are worried also. Baba, I don't want this Sukha to go. Then Sukha will go. When Sukha is there, you don't enjoy because it should not go, it should not go, it should not go. And when it goes, you are in terrible condition. You are in Dukkha. Then in the hope of getting Sukha, you continue somehow dragging. You ask people, how are you pulling on? Pulling on means what? Going. So, in that sense, you are bound by Sukha and Dukkha. Just become free from the thought of Sukha and Dukkha. What Sukha, what Dukkha? Do we really know? That's how we started today's class. No? Do we really know what is Sukha, what is Dukkha for us? What seems to be Dukkha now, be good tomorrow. Always in the class, I ask the question, how happy Shah Jahan would have been when Aurangzeb was born. He would have been excited. So many sweets he would have distributed maybe. But afterwards, what happened? So, we really do not know how to choose action. We are choosing action externally. What we really need to choose is the Atma. So there is really only one choice. What is the choice? The choice between the material world and the truth within. So an intelligent man will choose the truth within. not the material world. In the material world, joy, sorrow, honor, dishonor, profit, loss, all these are there. So therefore he says, united to knowledge, one sheds here both good and bad deeds. Therefore devote yourself to yoga. Skill in action is yoga. So you are not doing an action to be successful or a failure. Not that you are doing an action to be a failure also, isn't it? But you are completely out of success and failure. You are not in that league anymore. That is all for the childish people. You understand? Childish people, let them play with toys. Let them play with the success and failure. I am not going to play with success and failure anymore. I have pulled my mind out of success and failure. I have now gone within and I have realized the self within. So therefore, when you go and become united with the truth within through the knowledge, then you understand the paripurnatvam of yourself, the completeness of the self. And out of that completeness, in a bucket of water, you don't see waves. But in an ocean, you see waves. Isn't it? So there's infinite, and it comes out, waves come out. So like that in you, out of joy, so many actions come with absolute calmness within you function. As a result, you will be performing the action extremely skillfully. With total focus. That's what it means. With total focus. Because a person who has some dependency cannot be completely focused. A person with zero dependency will be absolutely focused. Zero dependency and fullness within. And that person is doing the action with self-motivation, not something motivating from outside. That's why they ask you, why can't the action itself be a motivating factor? Why should there be something or the other externally to motivate you? Some promise outside has to motivate you. Today is the day. In today's world, everything is incentivized. Everything is incentivized. So what we say today, you're running business, you can't take away the incentive straight away immediately. Then you will go into deeper situation, worse situation, not deeper, worse situation. So what you have to do? You have to slowly introduce knowledge to the people, the employees, make them understand, make them all strong, let their roots grow, and then you can take away the incentive. They won't even know that you have taken it. What does the mother do to the child? You have to do the same thing. Child sometimes may be playing with kitchen utensils, and the mother needs it to cook in the kitchen. The child will not give. If you forcefully take, that's it. The child will start weeping, crying, rolling down. You won't be able to do any cooking. So what do the mother do? Something more attractive. A toy that beats the drum or blows the conch, something like that, which is more attractive. The mother brings the toy to the child. And looking at that, the child gets excited and gives the utensil back to the mother. Mother can go happily cook. This is the thing. We need to understand. So slowly introduce the knowledge, and then incentive will go. They won't even realize no incentive. They start doing inspired actions. So that's what he's talking about. So when you identify with the self within, you will become absolutely balanced. As a result, you will be able to do focused activity, which most likely will end up in success. And even if it is not going to end up in success, you will be completely in freedom. You need to understand this. See, please understand, freedom is completely different from success and failure. We should aspire to choose freedom over success and failure. A wise person will always choose freedom over success and failure. Only a foolish fellow will choose success. We think success means freedom. Who told you that? Sometimes success can be a big crown. So first we have to choose freedom. With freedom, you may be successful, you may be failure. Doesn't matter. So with freedom, when you win, with freedom, you lose. you are always a winner. Without freedom, when you win, then also you are a loser. This is what we need to learn. This is what he's teaching us here. These are outstanding shlokas. So, he says, therefore, devote yourself to yoga. Skill in action is yoga. Skill in action means an action that does not produce vasanas. An action that does not produce vasanas. We have studied, in the Vedanta treatise book, Swamiji very clearly gives a chronology of action. How does an action come about? It comes from desires. Where does the desire come from? Thoughts. Where does the thought come from? Vasanas. So vasana, thought, desire, action. You have vasana to paint. From that, the thought of paint emerges. From the thought of painting, desire to paint comes. And from the desire to paint, you actually get up and paint. And such activities that is driven by vasanas produce more vasanas. Like from the seed, a tree comes and the tree produces more and more seeds. Similarly, you do actions that produce vasanas. Meaning what? You do the action. From the vasanas, you do the action. And action produces more vasanas. Whereas if you identify with the Atma and function the action with awareness, you will not produce vasanas. You will be destroying vasanas. You will be growing successfully, maybe most of the time, sometimes maybe failure. But you will definitely be peaceful and free and not creating more and more vasanas. This is what he calls as being skillful, not like Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu didn't know how to get out. He got in, he went in and he got caught. He didn't know how to get out. You should know how to get in and yet be out of it. That is what he's talking about. That is called Karma Yoga, which is being in yet being out. Always being out. Always being free, though you are doing the action. Let's conclude the class now. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.